this is Killer Kyle, and welcome to Worlds of Fury.
Worlds?
Wheels.
Alright.
Yeah. So, 2 weeks ago, I guess, we did our top 18 favorite bands. We did a 3-part series, and I figured, while we talked about it, and we should do another top whatever number, and I thought it was going to be really hard to do at this time with top favorite TV shows, but it was actually pretty easy.
Oh yeah.
So I figured instead of 18, let's try to
And a couple more and do 20?
I was thinking do top 10. So
top 10, okay.
well, it would still be 20. Oh yeah. So yeah, but that should be interesting, and then maybe afterwards we'll do runners up, because I thought about doing more shows, but I figured if we do 18, then I don't know, it wouldn't be that good, but I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
one of the things about doing a top list, whether it be top 5, top 10, top 20, top 100, is what you put on the list. There's going to be a lot more that don't get mentioned, and either you do like the list itself, and then you'll do a honorable mentions,
Yeah.
or when you decide to do another list, you might add onto that list what you didn't add to the list before.
Yeah, exactly.
Like after we did the top bands, I came up with quite a number of bands that we didn't mention, just randomly throughout a period of time, and I've got it's quite the list, I will say that.
Oh yeah, and you know, after we did that video, I thought of more bands that I could have included, but you know, it is what it is.
Like even with this one, top 10 each
Yeah.
of TV shows, like I think it's a really good list. But in my head, I thought of other TV shows. I was like, oh yeah, I could put that one, I could put that one. But I will say the list I've got is fairly good. I'm sure yours is fairly good as well. And then when we're done, we'll probably do like a honorable mentions or whatever.
Alright.
Second best, whichever.
Here we go. Number 1. Let's start with number, and we're gonna go with a show that I watched halfway through its season, you know, and that's my thing too. I always watch something halfway. I never really start watching a show unless it's on DVD. Parks and Recreation.
Okay, yeah.
And watching the show, it was like, well, it's very entertaining, obviously. It's one of those shows where it's document style.
Yeah.
And documentary. And it was like, almost reminded me of the people that I used to work with. So, pretty cool. And yeah, you got basically Leslie Knope character played by Amy Poehler, who is running this park along with these crazy guys like Ron Swanson and, you know, Tom Rutherford and April Ludgate, who obviously have a big crush on Aubrey Plaza, so. But it was a really good show. Like, it really showed what goes on in the parks department. There's a lot of romance, there's a lot of funny moments, and Amy being from Saturday Night Live. Like, guest stars, Fred Armisen, a lot of others on the show. Okay, there weren't too many Saturday Night Live people on it, but
yeah.
it's a lot of fun to watch. And before I start rambling.
Yeah, I didn't really. I haven't continuously watched the show, but there was one episode of that show. I think it was that show. I remember where like they're trying to see if they could build the world's biggest like blanket fort or something like that.
Oh, that's a show that's coming up later on my list.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you also have April and Andy.
Yes.
You know, the people that they got together, they stayed together, they broke up, and got back together. It's an interesting. Like, go watch it. It's very cool just to see how these people go on with their day-to-day lives, their relationships with each other, romance, how well they get along. You know, it's very funny, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And it's not the only sitcom, I guess, that has those kinds of things. It's like documentary stuff. It's, you got shows like
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine, The Office, Modern Family.
Yeah.
And so that's a really good show. And I think what also works too is you have guys like Rob Lowe on there who plays one of the happy-go-lucky guys, and Adam Scott. They joined the show in mid-season, and basically Adam's character is with Amy's character, and then a bunch of other things happen. It's pretty cool. And yeah, I hope I didn't ruin that, but there it is.
Yeah. Number 10 for me is a show that I watched from the beginning. I think I've pretty much watched every episode of it. I think there might have been a few that I didn't watch, only because I wasn't really that interested in watching it. I know you watch it. It's one of those shows that you get to see a different side of the people that are on it. It's a lip sync battle.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I never really was a fan of reality TV,
Yeah.
but I was in hospital 2 years ago, and that show was on, and I thought, oh, this is interesting.
Yeah.
A lot of stars battle it out, and
Yeah, it's basically two celebrities. They go on this show. They each pick two songs. One they just kind of sing regularly, and the second song they go all out with it, costumes and props and musical guests as well. And I mean,
yeah,
they've had literally a who's who of celebrities on the show. Not to mention the fact that the show is hosted by LL Cool J. But I mean, they've had like Fluffy, Gabriel Iglesias, Randy Couture, Michael Bolton,
yeah,
Channing Tatum,
The Rock,
The Rock,
Sarah Hyland,
yeah, Tanji P. Henderson, or Tanaja, whatever the
yeah, I don't know,
fuck her name is, and
it's Anthony Anderson,
Yeah.
and Tracy Ellis Ross
yeah,
from Blackish.
yeah.
It's a very cool show,
Yeah.
and I don't know if it's still on, but I really do enjoy it too, and it's not been taped for a while lately, so unfortunately.
Yeah.
But anyways. Number 2. So another show I used to watch was when I was little, and my dad actually watched it when he was in college, and it's actually pretty cool. It kind of started Alyssa Milano's career, kind of, and Who's the Boss?
Oh, yes.
You have a show that lasted for, I'd say, almost 10 years, well, maybe 10 years.
Yeah.
And it's a show about Tony Mincelli and his daughter Samantha moving into, I can't remember what state it was. He's a housekeeper, which in the 80s is kind of like crazy to think a male would be a housekeeper, I guess.
Yeah.
So he moves into this lady's house, and of course she's played by Judith Light, who's an actress all over the place. You probably don't give a shit what who they are, but I don't care. And she lives with her mother Mona, and then yeah, so it's a pretty cool show. Like it's
Yeah, I remember watching that show.
it's one of those shows that I really got addicted to when I was little, and it ended in '92
Yes.
when I was in second grade, and I think by that time it started going stale. Like a lot of shows tend to start going stale if they last longer, and some don't. But by 2 seasons before it ended, they had a kid that Angela and Tony adopted called Billy, and that kind of just really changed the show. Obviously, the kids were getting older.
Yes.
Yeah, Angela's son Jonathan, I'm not sure where he went afterwards. They basically didn't end the show with Tony and Angela getting together.
Yeah.
So they had the Tony Danza show in like 2004 or 2003. And they had a reunion, and they did a little sketch where they eventually almost got together, like a lost scene or something.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's a really good show. And Tony Danza, from what I heard on the biography, was like he's still a very awesome person.
Oh yeah.
Just treating the cast like gold and whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
And of course, Alyssa Milano would go on to be Charmed.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Next for me is a show I got into just kind of randomly. I started basically watching it because it's cool to see two historical people against each other and their weapons and the science behind it and whatever. And there's this show called Deadliest Warrior.
okay,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Yeah, so you'd have like Genghis Khan against Joan of Arcadia, I think it was. Or the American military against like the Israeli military. Or Pancho Villa against whatever it was. I just have basically you get these two historical figures from way back when and find out who would be the better of the two, and the weapons they used back then and all these different elements to it really made the show cool.
Yeah. Well, I have to watch that.
Yeah.
Like again, I try to watch other varieties.
I haven't seen it on TV in a while. I might be able to find it on like YouTube maybe or something.
Yeah.
I think there was one episode where they had Al Capone against Billy the Kid.
Oh wow.
I think it was. Yeah, that was interesting.
Oh wait, I think I did see advertisements for that show.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
But yeah, just the concept of having like, two leaders of something from years ago brought together and do a computer analyzation of number of kills each weapon would have gotten, and ultimately to figure out who would be like the top the better of whoever was there, whoever was battling each other. And yeah, they'd bring in like certain people that were linked to whoever it was. So for like Al Capone, it'd be like a historian about Al Capone, and then like somebody that really knew Al Capone's, what he preferred weapons were. And then for like Billy the Kid, it'd be like the same thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's interesting. Number 3. So number 8 is a show that, again, I got into mid-season, which wasn't too far off, I guess. They started in 2009. I really enjoy watching this show even to this day. Community.
Oh yeah.
You know, take a look at these guys who are in community college, and you've got the autistic brainiac that is into TV shows, Abed. And you've got Troy, who also hangs out with Abed and Troy and Abed in the morning. You've got Chevy Chase, who came back just to do Pierce, who's like the racist old man. And got Britta, who I did have a crush on. I won't lie. And Annie, and the fun-loving church-goer Shirley. And then, of course, you get Jeff.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, so from that, you have a lot of very cool sayings that you can pick up off the show. Like Troy and Abed in the morning.
Yeah.
Or pop, pop! And, you know, it's just a really fun, campy show.
Yeah.
That, you know, besides going to classes, they do a lot of activities and role plays and whatnot. And
Role play.
I think having it lasted 6 seasons. Like, there was the 5th season kind of died out for a bit because they had new characters to the show, and then for some reason they didn't come back, and people were upset, including myself. So Yahoo decided to have the last season of the show, and it was a little bit more raunchier, and it wasn't really what I remembered from past seasons. And the whole tagline was 6 seasons in a movie, and then still waiting for that fucking movie.
Yeah, really.
So it's a really good show, and I did it more justice than I did Parks and Rec. So
Yeah.
no, I mean, it was like, I wish that eventually they will do a movie, and probably one of the best G.I. Joe spoofs there ever will be.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it's that show, Community. I didn't really follow it, but I distinctly remember I either turned on my TV and it was on, the channel that Community was on, or I somehow came across it, and all you see is like throughout the hallways of this, it looked like a college dorm room.
Yeah.
And they've got all these sheets and just a bunch of people in them, and it's like, okay, you've got like a really big blanket for in your school. What's the purpose of this?
Oh god, you have no idea, man. Blankets or pillows. That was the best war ever. They did an episode, like, it was cool. It was like war documentary style, you know?
Yeah.
It was like blankets and war, and blankets and pillows. And Annie was going in to be a nurse. So her character in that particular episode is pretending to help the injured. And
Yeah.
there's a big fight scene they had with, like, Troy and Abed were against each other, and they had like a group of people on each side, with one with blankets and one with pillows, and they ended up like beating the shit out of each other. And that's how cool the show was.
Blankets and pillows. Oh, what reigns supreme?
Yeah.
That sounds like a show with adults trying to be kids.
Yeah. Or man children.
Yeah, there you go. Well, man children, but there was also girls in there too.
Well,
so.
yeah, obviously.
Next one for me is a show I didn't really get into on my own. My mom started watching it, and I watched it with her. And then I carried on watching it on my own. I've pretty much taken an interest in it. Now, when you hear it, you're probably going to go, well, that doesn't really sound all that interesting. But it actually is. The premise of it is you've got these captains of boats, and they go out on the sea in Alaska, and they try and catch king crab. The show is called Deadliest Catch.
Oh yeah, I used to watch that with my dad.
Yeah.
It was a really cool show, and it just goes to show you that if you go to a seafood restaurant, you better not throw away your fucking food.
Well, it essentially gives you an idea of, like, what it takes to get, like, if you go to a restaurant, let's say Mandarin, for example,
Yeah.
and they've got king crab legs on their buffet, okay, yeah, we'll take however many and enjoy them, but we don't really know
We don't appreciate what these people go through.
Yeah, we don't really have an understanding of what it takes to get these crabs.
Yeah.
For us to consume or to be sold abroad. When you watch this Deadliest Catch, it gives you an idea of the captains and the crew and the boats and everything go through during the crab season just to catch their quota, whether it be 100,000, 90,000, 125,000, whatever.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times, they either catch blanks, like they don't, when they bring up their pots are either empty, or there's like maybe 10 or so in them, or if they catch a full pot, chances are, the crabs have already started to lose their shells, and so the terminology they've been given are deemed as dirty, because they're not, because the crab started to lose its shell and hasn't started to grow a newer shell, they can't keep them and sell them. And another thing about it too is they only want, like, I think it's only male crabs, because they want to release the female crabs for reproduction.
Okay.
And of course, crabs, like lobster, you only want to keep a certain size.
Yeah.
And the amount of money these people make is insane. And like, for a job where you're out there, out on the Bering Sea, like, for weeks on end, days on end, throughout the season just to catch 150,000, let's say, you'd certainly hope to hell you'd be getting a good paycheck, otherwise you're probably not going to be happy. But yeah, these guys...
The storms that they go through.
Oh yeah.
And
The ice, the snow, the rain, the rough waters, the waves,
there's a
injuries.
captain that was a chain smoker. He manned the driving, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
He eventually died,
Yes.
and that, was...
His son, one of his sons, ended up being the captain of...
Damn it all, it happened again.
Fuck.
We were talking about Deadliest Catch.
Deadliest Catch, yes.
The guy's son.
Yeah, I was just saying that Phil Harris, the guy that died, his I guess, oldest son became the captain of his own boat, and then the younger son, the younger brother, fell into a problem with, I think it was like drugs or alcohol or something, so he kind of,
That's rough.
in his own world, in his own just downward spiral.
Yeah. So, wicked tuna.
Yes.
So wicked pizza. It makes you appreciate going to not fast food, but like Red Lobster or somewhere. Don't throw away that food because you know who caught it for you.
Yeah.
In the blistering storm.
It gives you a better appreciation of the food you're eating because you have a better understanding of just exactly what it takes to get that food to a restaurant, cooked up, and on your plate
Yeah,
for you to eat.
yeah, for sure. Number 4. So we're gonna start off with a show that, you thought The Simpsons were crude and rude and all that other shit.
Bad for a very adult humor.
So going into the 10th grade, this show was going to premiere, and being 14, and my parents not even let my little brother obviously watch the show,
Yeah.
but Family Guy.
Right.
Now apparently we talked about it, and you also have the show on your list,
Yes, I do.
so we could both,
And we both get into it right now.
yeah, one of these things that, like most TV shows, like I'm a huge fan of cartoons, even at almost 34, so it's like,
Yeah.
this was a show that was mostly for late teens and adults, so I didn't really get the humor too much. I just thought, oh, it's a cartoon, so I'll watch it. But it's just another show that the first season, the animation was a bit off,
Yeah.
but like The Simpsons, it got better.
Yes.
I think with Seth MacFarlane's humor,
Yeah.
it's kind of fucking weird to. And some of it, like, you could watch, let's say, The Simpsons, and it can be in bad taste. With Family Guy, as much as I love that show, it could be uncomfortable to watch at times.
Yeah, I mean, like, you got Stewie, who basically, on a regular basis throughout the show, throughout the seasons, continuously wants to kill Lois, his mother.
Yeah.
You got a talking dog that is an author and kind of a lonely guy, miserable guy, can't seem to get a girlfriend, and when he does get a girlfriend, she's a friggin' bitch.
Yeah.
You got Chris, who is a lot, what's the word I'm looking for? Most identifiable on the show, because he's like the one that doesn't really have any friends at school, is
Yeah.
kind of treated badly, bullied, overweight kid, and kind of just like the screwball or the oddball of the family. And then you got Meg, who's kind of the same way, not really able to get a boyfriend. She likes guys, but it seems like the guys she's been with
Yeah.
have been real idiots and stuff like that.
She's almost like the punching bag. Not
Essentially.
like figuratively,
Yeah.
It's one of those shows that tackle a lot of issues that is kind of, like I said, uncomfortable to watch.
In a way, the show takes like real life
Yeah.
family situations and puts an adult humor twist on it, so to speak. But I mean, like, So we've talked about Brian, Stewie, Chris, and Meg. Then you got Lois, who's like essentially the all-American mother, buys the groceries and provides for the family and is there for when the kids get into bad situations. And they got Peter, who's basically the all-around drunken idiot.
Yeah.
And he hangs out with Jill Swanson, Glenn Quagmire, and, well, it was Cleveland Brown, but he ended up leaving. And lo and behold, they come up with the Cleveland Brown Show.
Yeah, and unfortunately it didn't last too long, but that was a good show.
Yeah.
I think the thing with Seth MacFarlane is that I guess his humor is a bit more out there, and
Ooh, yeah.
I know my humor is, but it's like when you're making fun of cancer patients, and I don't know, there's a lot of taboo stuff.
Now you take a regular guy's dirty mind and times that by maybe 50, you got the entire Family Guy show.
Yeah.
It's crude and brash and out there. I mean, there's been episodes of Family Guy where you got Peter literally fighting a chicken.
Oh, yeah. That's a running gag.
I mean, as funny as it is, it's like, oh my god.
Yeah. And, you know,
Are you for real?
there's one, you know, I'm all for bringing characters back on demand, but there was one particular thing that I kind of want to get off my chest. While we're talking about it, I didn't want to do this, but there was one particular episode where Brian gets hit by a car, and it's not just hit by a car, he gets fucking run over.
Yeah.
And he's lying on the fucking table, and he's talking about, you've been my companion, and I loved you all. It was very sad. They did the funeral. They did everything sad. And what did you motherfuckers do? You load into Seth MacFarlane, and you say, why did you take Brian off and replace him with this dog? You know, I've lost many a dog through cars, and it fucking pisses me off that you even brought Brian back. This guy that, you know, there's the jumping the shark again. You get this guy who's a New York dog, and he's a part of the family. Maybe it didn't work out too well. But no, for Stewie's witchcraft or whatever, was time machine bringing Brian back to where before it gets hit by a car. Hey, you killed Miriam Goldman. She's not even on the show anymore. She's talked about past tense.
Yeah.
You fucking people, it's a fucking show. You know, Simpsons got rid of many characters that didn't bring back.
Yeah.
Now, what does that teach kids? Oh, hey, if your dog gets killed, you know, maybe if you wish hard enough, it'll come back to life, and things are gonna be back to normal. I know it's nothing to harp on, but this bullshit really pissed me off. Yeah, I know, Brian and Stewie, great adventures, whatever. But this fucking shit was... Why did you kill him off in the first place?
Yeah.
Fuck. Other than that, I really do love the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, like I said, it's a very, very adult,
Yeah.
humor-based show.
And like I said, the people who look at, I guess, The Simpsons, and weren't quite sure what to expect almost a decade later.
Yeah.
It was like 10 years in the making, actually.
Pretty much.
So, I mean, that was pretty cool. And I think that this show, you know, it's like, it started in 99. It took it off the air in, I think, 2002, 2003. Then, again, they brought it back through popular demand. And I remember going all the way home from the cottage, and my brother, Pat, and I were just quoting Family Guy sayings and stuff. It was pretty cool. And the fact that the show came back, was even more better, but it also brought in American Dad,
Yes.
which is Seth MacFarlane's other thing, you know.
Yeah. A completely different show altogether. Well, and one is another Seth MacFarlane show that's family based.
Yeah. And so it's pretty cool. And, you know, it kind of tackles everything that is in Seth MacFarlane's mind. They have Star Trek and Star Wars and
Oh yeah.
Kiss and
Yeah.
a lot of atheist jokes and stuff. So, yeah, it's a really good show. And,
Yep.
well, from there, do you want to go or? I'm not sure now.
We're going back and forth. You would do one, I would do one, you would do one, I would do
I know.
one. So my next show is a show kind of like Deadliest Catch, but it's a little different. It's a show called Swamp People.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this show is basically about people that go out in the Louisiana waters, the bayou, if you will, and catch alligators.
Mm,
Now, you might think that's kind of a cruel thing. Well, here's the big thing about that. Alligators can be a nuisance issue
yeah.
in a sense of like taking the family dog or
If you cross their territory, they will kill you.
oh yeah. And so these people go out and okay, yes, they are catching these alligators, and of course they have to shoot them to kill them so that they're not, trying to. When they bring them in the boat, they're not trying to bite either the captain of the boat and his partner helping them. But it's really also to control the alligator population,
Yeah.
so it doesn't get too far out of hand. And not only that, but these people that do this, not only are they, catching alligators and getting money for it and everything, but they're also showing like how these people essentially live off of what they've got, because where they live, they're like well, maybe not miles, but they're quite a distance from like a local grocery store or the local maybe hospital or whatever. So your meal will more than likely come from the woods, whether it be a wild boar or turkey or whatever. And it's kind of a cool show.
I would try that for sure.
And these guys, okay, the odd time, you might see them catch a little baby alligator, well, maybe not baby alligator, but a small alligator, like, a 5 to 7 footer.
Mm.
But on average, these guys are getting 8s, 9s, 10s, 11s, maybe a 12 footer, and these things are ferocious and big and just nasty.
Yeah.
So you can imagine having the one guy with, I think what they use is like a parachute cord or something, and they'll take it and they'll tie it to a tree, and then they got this really big ass hook. And they'll take chicken and just make it as stinky as possible. Just basically rot the fuck out of it and just stenchy and stinky as hell. Put it on this big ass hook, hang it above the water, and then the alligator will come up, eat, and grab the hook with the chicken on it, and essentially swallow it. And then you got they'll go around in the boat and grab one of the guys in the boat will have to try and wrangle this alligator and get it into a position so the other guy can shoot it in the head with a gun. Now, this thing about it is, alligator skin is like armor. It's tough as fuck.
Yeah.
So in order to kill an alligator, there's a sweet spot. It's a spot about that big, about the size of a quarter, on the top of their head, right between their eyes. It's a soft spot. You hit that, they're done. You hit anywhere else, ooh, it's not gonna be fun.
No. That's one pissed off alligator.
Oh yeah, you don't want to have a 12-foot pissed off alligator, I'll tell you.
No. Number 5. Alright, so this next show was another show that my parents got me into watching. Like I said, I have a really hard time watching shows from beginning to end, and it's another sitcom slash, I think it was a documentary style too, but
Oh, maybe.
30 Rock.
Oh, yeah.
Another show that is leading lady, well actually, both Saturday Night Live alumni, Tina Fey and Tracy Morgan, are on the show. You've got Alec Baldwin returning to TV. And it's one of those shows that you have, it's like they are in charge of all 30 Rock, Rockefeller Center in New York City. So it's kind of like, well, it's the same studio that Saturday Night Live is in, kind of. And you have interns, you've got, it's a really funny show. Like, it's kind of, yeah, it's almost, it's a really cool show. And they're basically, there's the meetings, and they have shoot ideas off of each other. And there's that chick that I can't pronounce her last name. She's from Ally McBeal anyways. But she plays the actress. The actress is, the one playing the actress is real talented. And she could sing. And there's a lot of cool stuff, especially with Liz Lemon. And you have Dr. Spaceman, Spaceman, and I really enjoyed the show. And the way it ended was pretty good too. Like, I mean, there's some series finales that aren't that good, and some that are really good, and I think this show ended off pretty cool, actually.
Yeah. So, basically, the premise of 30 Rock is like behind the scenes of making a show. Like, directors, producers, writers, and board meetings, and like all this stuff, and working with the actress, and all this other stuff.
Yes.
Next for me is, you stupid son of a bitch. A show that I seen on TV, and I didn't really get into, but I just randomly started watching it one day, and I really got into it. It's basically a show where you get blacksmiths coming to the shop, basically, and they create knives or weapons out of whatever metals they're given, or basically whatever they're given. And then it's so what they'll do is they'll get 1080 whatever, and you take it and you heat it up and you hammer it, and
You essentially make it into the shape of whatever knife. And then they'll get judged on it. And then, so one person will get eliminated, and then it goes to 3 people. And then they gotta, next round they'll put a handle on it and clean it up. And if they get a warp or cracks, whatever, fix that up, sharpen it. And then they'll test it out, see how sturdy it is, how sharp it is, whether it'll kill or not. And then another person will get eliminated. And when it comes down to 2, they get to go home to their home setup and recreate a weapon from history. And now that I've gone through the whole spiel about what this show's about, the show's called Forged in Fire. It's a really cool show, just the fact that these guys, and often women too, can take a simple piece of metal, like, let's see that pop can there, for example, the Diet Coke can. Yeah, take that and turn it into a blade.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
I wish I had more reality shows on my list. Like I said, I have seen them. I wish I was interested in them more. That actually does sound like an interesting show.
Oh, it is.
I'll have to look it up.
Yeah. And the historical weapons these guys usually end, or whoever it is at the final 2, and they have to make at the end, there's a lot of really cool ones. Like I've seen Viking sword, or the Viking axe, or the gladiator scissor, which is like a half moon shaped blade on a thing you stick your hand in, and you got a collar comes up your wrist, and yeah.
Nice.
It's a really good show.
Awesome.
And to think, like, to take whatever kind of metal, or even, like, ball bearings, and, like, washers, and whatever, just a bunch of, like, little different metals, and make them into, like, a solid piece, and then make that into a knife, is amazing. And these guys can choose from any kind of weapon, a bowie, a kukri, a chopper, a camp knife, various different other weapons that...
Switchblade?
I haven't seen a switchblade. One that I did see, though, was, I think it was like a folding blade.
Oh.
It was like, friggin' like, maybe that long, and then they got the blade that comes out, and it essentially looked like the old barber shaver, the straight blade or whatever you call it. Barbers would use for shaving. Yeah.